Her lips were close enough for me to taste the wine still lingering on them. Her hand rested on my chest, her nails dragging slightly against the fabric of my shirt, making my pulse beat faster. We were in my apartment, the soft glow from a single lamp painting shadows on her skin. Her hair fell loose over her shoulders, smelling faintly of vanilla and something far more dangerous. I could feel the heat between us, the kind of heat that didn't ask for permission, that burned away reason and replaced it with hunger. "Are you sure?" I whispered, though my hands were already tracing the curve of her waist. Her eyes held no hesitation. "I've never been more sure of anything," she breathed, her voice trembling with something between fear and excitement. It was in that moment I knew, if I touched her, there would be no going back. Not for her, not for me, and certainly not for the man whose ring she wore on her finger. Before I take you any deeper into this night, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this video with someone who thinks they know what temptation looks like. Trust me, by the end, you'll see it differently. It all started 2 months ago. Her name? Let's just call her S. I met her in the most unremarkable way, at the corner cafe 2 blocks from where I work in downtown Chicago. It was one of those cold mornings when you'd kill for a hot drink. I walked in, ready to grab my usual black coffee, and there she was, standing in line in a fitted beige coat, her hair tucked into a soft scarf, staring at the menu like it was the most important decision of her life. We spoke for the first time because she dropped a glove. I bent down, picked it up, and when our hands touched, something shifted. "Thanks," she said with a quick smile. I noticed the ring on her left hand immediately, but the way her eyes lingered on mine told me that ring didn't mean the whole story was simple. She started showing up more often. At first, I told myself it was coincidence. But when she started sitting near my table, when she started asking about my day, my work, my life, I knew she was pulling me in without even trying. The thing about women like S. They don't have to say they're unhappy. You can feel it in the way they listen to you, the way they lean closer when you talk, the way they let silence stretch just long enough to make it feel intimate. I should have walked away. I should have told her to work on her marriage. But lust, it makes you blind. One evening, she sent me a message, short, simple, dangerous. "I can't stop thinking about you." That was the first time we met outside the cafe. A dimly lit bar near the river. She wore a black dress that clung to her in all the right places, and when she leaned in to hug me, her lips brushed my cheek longer than they should have. We drank, we laughed, we let the world around us blur until it was just her hand resting on mine and the slow burn of her gaze telling me everything her words wouldn't. That night ended with her in my apartment, the same one where I'm standing now, with her so close I could feel her breath on my lips. Somewhere in the middle of this story, I'll remind you again, because what's coming next? You'll want to hear every detail. And you'll want to share it. But that night, that first night, was only the beginning. She didn't wait for me to make the first move. Her lips pressed against mine with a hunger that startled me, the kind of hunger you only get when you've been starving for something you're not supposed to have. Her hands roamed without hesitation, fingers slipping under my shirt as if she'd been imagining this moment for far too long. I felt the cold metal of her wedding ring brush against my skin, a small, cruel reminder of the boundary we were about to erase. "Tell me you want this," she whispered, her breath warm against my neck. "I do," I said, and it wasn't just lust talking. I wanted her in a way that made my chest tight, a way that felt reckless and inevitable all at once. Before we get deeper into this night, if you're watching this, hit that like button and subscribe, because what happens next is the moment I stopped being a bystander in her life, and became the reason it started to fall apart. She led me to the couch, her eyes locked on mine the entire time like she was daring me to stop her. I didn't. When she straddled my lap, I could feel the trembling in her thighs, a mix of nerves and desire. My hands explored the shape of her, memorizing every curve like my life depended on it. She kissed me again, slower this time, as if she wanted to savor the taste of this betrayal. Her perfume wrapped around me, pulling me deeper into the kind of intoxication no drink could match. "You make me feel dangerous," she murmured against my lips. "You make me forget," I admitted. Clothes started falling away, careless and urgent. The air between us thickened until the only sounds were our breaths and the faint hum of the city outside my window. When I touched her bare skin, she closed her eyes like she was letting herself disappear into this moment, like if she just kept them shut, her reality wouldn't exist. What happened on that couch that night was more than lust. It was a pact. An unspoken agreement that we would both pretend the rest of the world didn't matter as long as we were here, like this. But lust has a way of demanding more. And she wasn't done with me, not even close. It had been a week since that night on my couch. A week of restless sleep. A week of checking my phone every 5 minutes, waiting for her messages. And every time her name popped up, my stomach twisted in a mix of excitement and guilt. Then came the text that changed everything. "I'm near your office. Step outside." No warning. No explanation. Just that. I stared at the screen for a few seconds before grabbing my jacket. She was leaning against her car when I stepped outside, wearing sunglasses even though it was cloudy, like she was trying to hide in plain sight. "Get in," she said. I slid into the passenger seat, and before I could ask anything, she reached over, cupped my jaw, and kissed me. Right there. On a public street. My first instinct was to pull back, too many people, too much risk, but her hand gripped the back of my neck, keeping me close. "Relax," she said with a smirk. "You think anyone cares? They're too busy living their own lives." Before I take you further into this scene, if you're watching this, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because this is the moment she proved she didn't care who saw us. She drove us to a small diner on the edge of town, the kind of place where nobody asked questions. We slid into a booth, and I couldn't stop looking at her, not just because she looked incredible, but because she seemed different. There was a spark in her eyes. Not the nervous kind she had the first night, but something wilder. Halfway through lunch, her foot brushed against my leg under the table. Then it stayed there. "You know," she whispered, leaning in, "the more we do this, the less I care about hiding." "That's dangerous," I told her. "That's the point," she said, smiling like danger was the thing turning her on the most. By the time she drove me back, I knew this wasn't just an affair anymore. This was a game to her. A game she wanted to win, no matter the cost. It was a Thursday night when she called. No hello, no small talk. Just meet me. 10 minutes. Same spot. I didn't even think twice. I grabbed my keys, heart pounding like I was about to commit a crime, which, in a way, I was. When I pulled up, she was already outside her car, wearing a tight black dress that didn't belong anywhere but in trouble. She walked over, opened my door, and climbed into my lap, right there, in the driver's seat. "What are you doing?" I asked, glancing around. "Shoo," she whispered, pressing her lips to mine. Her perfume hit me first, something sweet but dangerous, and then her hand slid under my jacket. I could hear cars passing, people walking just a few feet away, but she didn't care. "You like the risk, don't you?" she teased. Before we go any further, if you're watching this, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next, because after this night, I couldn't look at her the same way again. She finally pulled back, her lips slightly swollen, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Let's go somewhere," she said. "Where?" "You'll see." She drove us to a hotel downtown, not the cheap kind, but one where the rooms had city views and champagne on the table. She had already booked it. My name wasn't anywhere on the reservation. Inside, she kicked off her heels, dropped her purse on the bed, and walked to the window. The city lights reflected on her skin, and she turned to me with a look that said she wasn't just here for the night, she was here to test how far I'd follow her. We could be seen, I told her, nodding toward the window. Exactly, she said, pulling me closer. That's what makes it fun. That night, she didn't just blur the lines, she erased them. The sound of sirens in the distance, the faint hum of traffic below, the possibility of someone recognizing her, it all became part of her thrill. When it was over, she laid there, smiling like she'd just won a game I didn't even know we were playing. "You're addicted now," she whispered. She wasn't wrong. It had been almost 2 months since that hotel night. We'd gotten sloppy. Calls that were supposed to be short became late-night conversations that stretched past midnight. Quick meetings turned into hours we couldn't account for. She was bolder now. Sometimes she'd text me while her husband was in the other room. Sometimes she'd send pictures, not the kind you keep on your phone if you want a peaceful life. And me? I was blind enough to believe we could keep it that way forever. One evening, she called, her voice trembling. Can you come over? He's out of town." It sounded innocent enough, but the way she said it told me it wasn't. When I got there, she opened the door wearing nothing but an oversized shirt. She pulled me inside before I could say a word. "You have no idea how much I've been waiting for this," she whispered. "Before I continue, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because what happened this night still makes my hands shake when I think about it." We didn't even make it to the bedroom. The couch, the kitchen counter, against the wall, it was like she was trying to make up for every moment we'd missed. But in the middle of it, she froze. "Wait, did you hear that?" she whispered. I didn't hear anything, until I did. A car door slamming. Footsteps on the porch. Her face went pale. He wasn't supposed to be back until Sunday. In that moment, all the heat in the room turned to ice. I grabbed my shirt, heart racing, scanning for a way out. She pointed toward the back door, and I slipped out just as the front door opened. I could hear his voice, deep and suspicious. I ran through the yard, jumped the fence, and didn't stop until I was blocks away. That night, she texted me one word. Close. And that was it. We didn't see each other for weeks after. She said it was too risky now. She said she'd miss me. She said it was for the best. But here's the truth, it wasn't her husband who ended us. It was her. She liked the danger more than she liked me, and once the danger got too real, I was just another story she'd never tell out loud. So here I am, telling it for her. Because lust made her bold. And lust made me blind. And if you think this could never happen to you, trust me, it can.